technology reflects the image of the child, the individual, and then communicates the emotion.
On his own face.
Right.
Right, and then the second part of the app has a game where it identifies other people's faces. So once you get it yourself, then you'll see his improvement in the game within the app. And then of course what's really critical, and this was an aha moment for us. Andrew didn't want to work with. We had a training phase. We started out with I think she was probably mid-20s, and we had a training face girl that goes, "Hey, make this face for me." On the app. Well, he just didn't want to work with her because she wasn't age appropriate. In other words, hey, if he's 10 years old, he doesn't work with a 25-year-old. He wants to work with a 10-year-old that's making that face. So I went out there and grabbed about 12 or 15 different training faces, all age appropriate, so that any autistic kid can come in, a 12-year-old, work with a 12-year-old trainer. Big, huge aha moment. And it ramped up from there.
We'll back this up a little bit. So you came upon the technology and your understanding, because you have a child with autism, and the process begins for you to bridge the two, and in an application specifically for this. So you started conceptualizing the structure for this. How did the whole idea come? How did you formulate the technology to where there are multiple trials? How was that process?
Yes, we did. We did a lot of trials. There's a lot of autistic associations around that we approached. Actually, this is before we actually had the app finished, and we asked them, what works for you right now? What emotion training are you doing, first of all? What doesn't work and what does work? And what would you like to see? And, after much research, we came to the understanding that age-appropriate faces were critical, as well as real-life application. In other words, turn it into a real-life situation, not just a picture of something. And the real-life situation was turning that camera back on that child. And we have so much opportunity to go even further, which we want to do. We want to get into augmented reality, where you actually go into a video and you have to identify the faces in the video before the video will go on. It'll stop right there and before you can go on. So that's the next step. But it all started, and I had to back up a little bit because it kind of started when Andrew, I think he was about 5 or 6 years old, and his mother went and got a haircut, and she came out, she had long hair, and she had a real short bob. She came out, he did not recognize her. And it scared his mother, and it scared him too. And so we realized, boy, we got our job, in front of us to improve that.
So you're obviously, you're very excited when you came upon this technology. You started road mapping the application.
Yeah.
How long was the development? And I understand that all technologies is always like evolving, but
right.
Before you got out phase one, you're also working professionally full time, working in the studio, and then you're working on this technology.
Yeah,
and breath of fresh air, you're seeing this solution. You're seeing a vehicle or a tool, a technology that can help not only your child, but all families that have children with autism.
It was a long process. It was about a 4 or 5 year process to get where we are. But just grabbing the micro emotion of the face, we just grab a split second of the face, and it wasn't fast enough, because what happens with people's emotions when you express something? Let's say I'm going to ask you something that makes you angry. Well, most of the time, people guard that with their emotions when they didn't necessarily show that back to you. But that first split second that makes you angry, that's your micro emotion that goes away pretty darn quick. If you can capture that on video, you can roll it back and go, you were angry, and you are angry, but you're hiding it. And so there's deception going on with emotions all the time in people's faces, all the time. You can apply that to dating. You can apply that to just about anything out there. And autistic kids don't have that deception. So we had to morph the app to do an average mood over like a 2-minute period. What's his average mood? All right. Where did the conversation change, or what did you say to that child to make him change his mood in the middle of that conversation? So all those things started going into the app that made it more and more, I think, valuable.
So there's a split moment that the child creates this expression and then it's gone. And it's essentially able to connect this processing where they're able to see that emotion and then or that facial expression and relate it to that physical emotion.
You can grab those micro emotions. That's the most important thing. And we go back to the research of Paul Ekman and subsequently many other researchers past that, including some of the people we talked to, that said that's really important. You grab that in that kid. You understand that he's not hiding something, or whether, it was a split-second emotion. That's really, really important.